Hello, I'm Sasha of Sasha Makes Cards, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a card I created, a one-layer card I created using the Beach Scene rubber stamp, the Ahoy Matey clear stamp set, and a new to me product is the NoFuss masking sheets. I first started by stamping one of the images from the Ahoy Matey stamp set. I used an alcohol marker friendly safe ink. For this this is my favorite, the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, and stamped it onto a 100-pound Hammermill cardstock. I stamped the image 2 to 3 times to make sure I get a crisp, clean impression, and then I'd stamped the same image without moving the stamp in my stamp positioning tool onto the NoFuss masking sheets. When you're using the NoFuss masking sheets, you have to make sure that you stamp the image onto the correct side. In person, it's definitely easier to tell, as one side feels a bit more like paper, but if you're not entirely sure, you can just peel back the masking sheet a little bit, see which side is the sticky side, which side is not, and that will help you figure out which side you should be stamping on. However, they're very easy to use and they are repositionable, so you can actually, once you cut them out, if you take care of it and you peel it off nicely, you can actually reuse it for other projects. I fussy cut the masking sheet using a pair of spring-assisted scissors and then placed it onto the stamped image on my card front. When I was cutting the image, I accidentally cut the one image into 2 pieces, so I put it on in 2 pieces. Honestly, it doesn't need to be perfect as long as it covers the image and it masks off whatever you're trying to mask off, then it will work just fine. Once I was ready, I placed the Beach Scene rubber stamp over top and stamped it using the exact same ink as before, the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And now comes the satisfying part, peeling off the NoFuss masking sheets. It's always so fun to see what it looks like underneath, and it's very satisfying to do. To color my little beachy scene today, I'm going to be using Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I have here a list of the color combinations I'm going to be using. Feel free to pause the video and take a screenshot so that you can reference these color combinations, use them if you would like, use them as inspiration, or cross-reference them with your own marker of choice. I start off by coloring the little bird in the front using a gray color combination for the body before moving on to blue and red for his little hat. I always work from my darkest color to my lightest color. So for the gray, I start from CG050 going to CG030 and then lastly to CG020. For the blue, I start off with B270, moving on to B260, then to B250, and lastly to B220. As for the red, I start with R8, moving on to R2, then R3, and lastly R1. I decided to also color the shovel, the bucket, and the lighthouse the same blue and red color combination to maintain a cohesive look throughout the card, before moving on to coloring the water, which is also the same blue, and the grass and the sand. While coloring the sand, I, for whatever reason, forgot to press the record button, and most of the recording I have of me coloring the sand, my head is in the way, so I apologize for that. However, to color the sand, I did it in a very similar manner as to how I colored the bird, working from my darkest color to my lightest color, using the stamped parts of the images, using the grass and the little dots in the sand to kind of help guide my coloring. I simply just started layering down color until it felt right, which maybe isn't the best explanation, but I always like to think of it as sand isn't perfect, the environment isn't perfect, so if it's not completely smooth and it's a little spotty and sandy looking, then that's all, doesn't matter, then it's all good. To finish off my coloring, I used some Prismacolor Premier colored pencils to add some shading and texture, and then to finish off the card, I stamped a sentiment. For this, I decided to choose the Just Float sentiment, stamped it in the top left-hand corner of the card, and used a liquid adhesive to glue my card front to my card base. This was my first time actually working with the NoFuss masking sheets or NoFuss masks from Whimsy Stamps, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. I don't often make one-layer cards or cards that involve masking, but using these really makes me want to use them more. But anyways, that is the completed card project. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check the description box below for links to shop the supplies I used today, as well as to check out my social media and the Whimsy Stamps social media. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.